Howdy and aloha, everyone. It is James with Mana Talk. Mana meaning power, mystical power. And talk meaning use your words. Right? Just use your words. It's really simple. It's August 23rd, 2025. A lot going on. I thought I'd just remind people of what we avoided. It's just fuck.
Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up.
Jesus. You guys remember that, right? Gee, oh my gosh. That almost happened. Wow. Yep, we all dodged a bullet, just like Trump did. And we've still got people saying, oh, that was CGI and manufactured and all this other shit. There's just so much information to say that it was absolutely real. And he's threatened every day. I still agree with this. But I can tell you what's going on. The American people deserve to know the truth. Reference Epstein regardless of who it impacts. Yeah, of course. There's plenty of evidence and info not pertaining to CSAM victims that Doe's leadership can authorize the FBI direct cash. Donna Bingo, and FBI cannot release anything without the Justice Department authorization. Task Force, all the members will be asking for that on behalf of the American people. The American people should be free to come to their own conclusions. The truth will always come out one way or another, and we're hoping it soon. But I just got to say, knowing I think they felt that they jumped the gun a little bit, and they were. It's like playing chess. If you touch the piece and move it, a chess piece, then that's it. But you can just touch the piece. So what I think Trump is doing now is he's touching the piece, giving these people like some bait. He's just baiting them. It just seems that way. Of course, we all know that Israel and a lot of the CEOs and extremely powerful people were involved with the Epstein files that were related or associated or directly connected to Israel. Or just all the Auschwitz Nazism that's been going on. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about that with Letnick and Loomer. But I'm kind of going to go over that a little bit longer. But I think right now it's important for us to realize that and know this, because I'm sure there's more than one copy of all these files. Tell me there's not. Raise your hand if you think there's at least more than one copy out there of the Epstein files. And I'm pretty sure the Demoncrats, before they left, took everything they could, tried to burn or destroy or erase everything they could, which I'm guaranteed they did. I mean, once November 5th, 5th was over, and they knew the results, they just started burning shit and destroying and erasing everything. But then Doge came in and said, hey, by the way, no, nothing's really gone because we still have these hard drives. So I'm sure there's a lot of information that's somewhere out there. I'm also sure that maybe Israel has a piece, and maybe a few other entities or whatever have pieces of this file. But I think Trump just decided, are people still talking about this? And he just decided, hey, you know what? If they get desperate, which they might, which it seems like, if Trump plays these cards correctly, and he decides to release this information prematurely, others will come in and say, well, you forgot this. Well, he could do the same thing. If they get desperate and release information, they'll say, wait a second, you forgot these 200 or 300 pages, these 200 pages, these thousands of pages, these documents, these emails, these videos, da 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 da. Right? So I think that's what he's waiting for, because the Republicans, the Democrats keep saying they want to see it. They want it. They all want it. But the judge that was appointed by Obama in the circuit court or some part of the court, is denying access, of course. And I think he knew that, and we all knew that. So the sad thing about it is these victims may not see, and that's my biggest problem, is they may not see justice for them or accountability for them, that what the horrendous shit that they've been through. And that's the sad part about it. It's just, at a certain point, we need to stop this shit. Like I've always said, look, if we're going to evolve like as a species or as a culture, as a country, as a people, as a whatever, we've got to start being honest and just lay it out there. And we got to, in my opinion, start from scratch. You know, you did this, I did that. Let's just start over and see if we can make this work. Because there were moments where things were good. You know, the 70s were good. Part of the not really 60s because Vietnam. The 70s were pretty nice. The 80s were a bomb. Were fucking in a good way. You know, I don't want to say sick because that word didn't come out yet. But it was fun. It was exciting. It was exuberant. It was experimental. It was just fuck. If you were anywhere from 14 to 25 in the 80s, you were fucking having a great time. Period. And I'd like to get back to that. When things were fresh, things were pure. There were a couple of bud bites on your fruits. You know, processed foods really weren't coming around. Cheerios were made out of like 5 different ingredients. Ice cream was made by how you're supposed to make ice cream. There was smog, of course, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Unless you lived in LA, it was pretty bad. I love peaches. But the thing is we can't keep sweeping stuff under the rug. There are moments in our lives where we truly believe in something or somebody or a mission or a goal. And you bring somebody aboard your vessel, your ship, your dinghy, your Boston whaler, your whalecraft. You guys, if you've been in a boat, you know what I'm talking about. Your pontoon, whatever. Hatteras, cigarette fountain, you know, AC-75, really expensive boat for the America's Cup. Or your aircraft carrier or your fucking Carnival cruise ship, right? Some people are going to betray you. Some people are not going to be there for you. Some people are going to, could be your first mate, could be your second mate, could be somebody down the chain of command or up the chain of command. You know, things happen. But if we don't start to just be honest with what we are, who we are, what we're about, and get down to our core self and really feel that connection, because I know there's connections. I've felt connections with people. I know you've felt connections with people, and there are moments where you're just so tight and you're so together and you're so with it. You want to hold that bond. You want that back. You always want to keep that. It's you, and you do whatever you can to fight for that. But then somebody gets tainted. Somebody could get influenced. Somebody could be. Something could happen to where they get distracted or pulled away. And they start to lose that grip of the connection we all have. And what I'm getting to is we, as a species, right? And I'm not talking we should be like the Borg, or Unity like in Rick and Morty. But I think we should all kind of head towards the same direction. And I'm not talking about living on a completely uninhabitable red rock called Mars. And I would be okay with using Mars, like I've said, as I'm getting to a point here, as a launching pad and a test pad, and just back and forth, see how fast we could travel through space and time, just to, and then start to move quicker and faster and safer from there. But living on that fucking rock is, we may have even came from there and just said, fuck this place, it's all fucked up now, and we came over. Who knows? I mean, there's movies about that. But there's got to be a moment when we need to, say, AI, you're fucked up. We're just going to start over. We're going to give them the facts. We're going to expose everything. We're just going to start from scratch. We're just going to go, okay, what are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to do? What's our goal? Do we have unification? I mean, I've always said we're Voyagers. My thing is I've always thought we were like the Hawaiians, like we've always been hunter-gatherers and nomads. And we've always, since the beginning of our time, whether it's a few thousand years or millions of, whatever the case may be, we always move towards a better place. We want to be in that better place. We want to be in that mound on the hill, or that nice valley area by the stream, or we want to have that nice overlooking the rocks and the ocean sand. We want to have that kind of life. We want to get to that place where, things are comfortable, things are safe, things, there's happiness, there's more happiness and more joy, less pain, less suffering, right? Bottom line. Well, we need to start making amends, and we need to start moving in the correct direction. And if we keep pushing this crap and the disgustingness of Epstein Island in this direction of just, this leveraging, it's just kind of like this chess game with it. Like you're playing tiddlywinks with it. It's not good. It's something you don't want to do. It's something that kind of depicts who we are, and we need to stop that. We need to be more of a pure species, just a real species of intellectual beings that want to grow within and externally and internally, and in a sphere moving outward, that we're going to achieve greater and better things in the future. I mean, we have to have that vision, and it's not going to happen if we keep stifling and hiding and playing this silly game, right? We just need to stop and just be real, right? Just use the common sense, the gut feelings, your primal self, I say. And I think we could get it to the place where we need to be, where everything's peachy. All right, moving on. Let me jump in here. Always kind of interesting. Oh, it's funny. You guys know what happened with Sydney Sweeney, or whatever that girl is, who did the jeans commercials. Just got back from local American Eagle store. They're completely sold out of jeans. Woke is dead. It is. And then recently, Cracker Barrel. I'm just like I said, this is like a documentary. Cracker Barrel went woke. I'm trying to figure out, and I know the reasoning for it. If you don't get it, and I'm going to just kind of go over it with you. BlackRock, the World Economic Forum, and I told you they were tied. They were tied together. And sure enough, right, Flint, Larry Fink is now going to become the CEO or whatever, the head person of the World Economic Forum. Go figure. Right? And didn't we just give BlackRock control of the Panama Canal? I mean, what the fuck? Trump, you've got to dissolve that company. You've got to find a way to get your fucking face as far away from that company as possible. BlackRock is pure evil. They're the ones that want corporate governance with the World Economic Forum. They want. They're all into the DEI. It's all a tactical way for you to do this. 2 holes. Do this instead of, doing our natural thing is breeding. That's what we are. That's why men are a little more aggressive in regards to that, and why women are the way they are, and it's all built in our DNA, and it's just the way it works. And we need the population to move and grow and learn, and we need new thinkers and new leaders and new innovators and stuff like that. We need to start to prosper from that. And we need, like I said, internally, externally, and maybe I'm getting too far here, but hey, what's up, Jordan? How you doing, buddy? But the thing really is at a certain point, this woke thing is just it. I just don't get it. If you're, and look, BlackRock rewards the corporations that go woke. Just letting you guys know. Look it up. It's in their business policies or procedures or whatever. So this is a move to try to get in good with BlackRock, to try to get in good with the World Economic Forum, and that's the way that works. It's not organic. They're not doing it to try to help anybody. It's part of the fucking depopulation process. Like I said, the global predator class out there that are still pulling a lot of the strings are trying to get rid of 2/3 of the world's population and hoard the rest for themselves. Be selfish with the rest of the rest of it. They don't need your likes. They don't need your money. They're getting money from places like Ukraine, wars here, pandemics there, whatever emergency money and funds need to go. They're it's everywhere. They're fucking constantly feeding this monster, and the monster is just a handful of people. Just a handful of people that want to get rid of you, me, and the whole fucking shebang. And they want it all for themselves. And it's really sad because they're still out there, and they're still controlling people, and they're still trying to get us to fight against each other. Right? If you keep fighting each other, then you really won't know who the true enemy is. And like I've always said, it's the World Economic Forum, the greatest terrorist group on the planet. They disguise themselves well. They've been using climate change and diversity, equity, and inclusion, all this other shit. I've done all the research. If you need more information about it, just watch my videos. It's all fucking there. I've laid it out with documentation and videos and everything, and you should definitely have that information, so you can make that decision on your own. I'm not saying that everything I say is biblical in a sense. No. What I'm saying is do your own research, chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Do your own due diligence and make these decisions on your own, right? Stay in touch with people like Ryan Christian, like Steve, what's Steve's last name? From Indy. God darn it. I was just talking the other day on X. Let me see if I can just get that conversation up real quick. He's a smart kid, I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, right here. What do we got here? This is a good one. It's true. I'm sure they would say the same with us, but they actually did do this. They've done all of this. They've destroyed it all, and that's what their goal is. That's why they were put in the place that they were put. That's why they brought 20 to 30,000 National Guard troops just after the election, just to illegitimately install Joe Biden or whoever that was. And it's an interesting game that they've been doing. It's trippy, man. It's fucking trippy. Kamala Harris calls me and Donald Trump disloyal to America. Call me crazy, but I think it's disloyal to let in 20 million illegal aliens and poison our citizens with fentanyl. Yeah, that's a good point, my friend. That's a good point. And then right here, okay, maybe we lied about Biden's health and Russia collusion and COVID and Hunter laptop and voter fraud, January 6th Ukraine, Epstein, Hollywood, and everything in between. But trust us when we tell you Trump is a threat to our democracy. That is a good one right there. That is a good one right there. And that's it. And that's just so much of it. It's just crazy. That's just definitely part of it. And this all came from this. Leo, what does so this picture came out, and you have Bezos, and then I think it's not Bezos over there. They all took off their ties, and Hustle Bitch, which is great YouTube. This guy's got some great information. Do you really understand what's just been unleashed? Not an accident, not random. This is the signal. So I guess it's a signal, right? What does the ties are coming off mean? What it means, in the context of the photo, the ties are coming off likely refers to the absence of neckties as a symbol of cutting ties with the establishment, constraints, or deep state influences, signaling unrestrained action. Some interpret it as a nod to QAnon ideas like the storm. Views differ across the security, of course. And then this guy chimes in and said, I'd rather see a relaxed Friday atmosphere talking about sports and the 2026 World Cup amongst, FIFA's coming in, which is cool. FIFA, soccer championship. Things that we've seen at White House and further. Wait, let me redo that. I'd rather see a relaxed Friday atmosphere talking about sports and the 2026 World Cup amongst other things than what we've seen at the White House and other function agencies for the past 4 years, for sure. Wouldn't you? And let me show you some of these pictures. Yeah, some fucking crazy shit has been going down there. I mean, just the most. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just been disgusting. The shit that we've seen and the nonsensical crap that we've endured with this past 4 years. Do you guys remember all this stuff? Just fucking crazy. Crazy. If you ever watch Flip Wilson, you watch basketball shows, you ever watch Kids in the Hall, you ever watch Monty Python or Benny Hill, and a lot of, what was that, the Crumps or the Grumps, Eddie Murphy played like, when you're cross-dressing, it's a joke. It was always meant to be like funny or a joke. Or if you're in bed with somebody, you have your little fetishes. I get it, right? But you bring it out like it's something that it's okay when maybe 0.001% of the people on the planet actually really delusionally believe they're a woman when they're actually a man, or delusionally and crazily believe they're a man when they're actually a physical woman. But this kind of shit was just every day. This was fucking nuts. This shit at the White House was nuts. And now they're saying all kinds of signals and crazy shit. Right? Look at this. Here's a really interesting picture. What the fuck? These are dudes. No, you're just never going to be good looking. I'm sorry. It's just the way that's going to work. Right? And then all this shit, and these guys, all this shit was all over. This was everywhere. Oh, and there's that picture. They were. This is fucking nuts. This is the shit that was in the White House. Some of it's still there. Are you looking at all this shit? Do you want to be a part of that group? That's fucking crazy. No, and you don't want your kids around that shit. You don't. You don't want your children around, you know, I know, look, I went over this a few videos ago about the poison in the water and the food and everything like that. And there are people that just have a genuine, I get it, attraction to the same sex. Get it, fine. But there are many things that are going on in your brain and your mind just by what you're inhaling, what you're feeling, what you're taking, what you're digesting, what you're engulfing, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're seeing, what your atmosphere, the village you're in, the people you're hanging around with. There's so many things that can affect somebody to go in certain directions where you're just like, all of a sudden it just becomes part of your life. And then you look back at it and you go, what the fuck just happened? Where did I go? Right? Because I know there are people out there that got fooled into this, got tricked into this, got fed into this, literally fed into this, or drank into this, or took these blockers and all this junk in their bodies. Just be who you are. Just it's so simple. It's just so simple. And I've seen it and I've felt it and I've been around it. And then, because it's all, oh God, that was real. That was fucking real. That was a real situation. That was in the White House. Fucking God. Right? It's just craziness. And people are giving everybody crap about this. About these guys just taking off their ties. I guess you weren't Jeff Bezos. I'm sorry. I wasn't Jeff Bezos. I mean, I'm the fucking total opposite of Jeff Bezos. But I'm not going to fucking cry me a river over it. The guy was selling books online, and then he started selling other products, and then he made a lot of money, and he didn't corner the market. There were so many other companies. There's Temu and Alibaba, and I mean, there's all kinds of places, right? And he made it work for people, so it was easier. And it helped make a lot of people millionaires as well. So he you know, there's things out there that probably still could be used, and AI is being used for that right now, which I don't have a problem with. We need to keep AI in a fucking fishbowl. That's all I'm saying. Fishbowl scenario means it can't plug into anything else. Yeah, there's just so much stuff out there that's pretty wild. Pretty wild. But that's interesting how that got everybody so jacked up about that. Fucking weird. Anyway, so this came up recently, and I remember seeing this a while back. Okay, can someone explain how this happened? Right? How this happened? Licensing liberty. No state shall convert a liberty into a license and charge a fee therefor. Murdoch versus Pennsylvania. 319 U.S. 105. If the state converts a right/liberty into a privilege, the citizen can ignore the license fee and engage in their right/liberty with impunity. Right? And this is the other case. Shuttworth versus City of Birmingham, Alabama. And this is a while back. So there used to be no fishing license, no hunting license, no driver's license, no gun license, no barber's license, no solar panel permits, no concrete carry permits, concealed carry permits, no protect permits, no firearms license, no toll fees, bike registration fees, boat registration fees, vehicle registration fees, land use fees, all this is fucking bullshit, right? And this girl kind of goes over it pretty well here. I'll let her kind of say her piece. She goes over a small piece of it.
When Social Security started in 1935, it was tax-free. That was the promise. You pay during your working years, and you get it back in retirement without another tax bill. Then, in 1983, Congress broke that promise. Suddenly, it went up to 50% of your benefits could be taxed if you, quote-unquote, made too much. And in 1993, they hit you again. Now up to 85% could be taxed. And here's where it gets dirty. The income limits that they set back in the 80s and 90s, they've never changed. They've never been adjusted for inflation. They knew the cost would rise, and over time, more and more retirees would get pushed into the highest tax bracket on their Social Security. And now they're selling this new senior bonus, a $6,000 deduction if you make under $75K or $150K for couples. Sounds nice, but let's be real. With inflation, $75K today could feel like living on $17K in 20 years. And at a 6% inflation, more like $12K in 30 years. So no, this isn't a fix. It's a Band-Aid on a broken system while the government spends money faster than it comes in. And you're still paying into a fund that may not ever be there for you. My friend worked 40 plus years since he was 15 years old, paid into the system, and now because of his income, 85% of his Social Security is taxed, just like regular earnings. This isn't bad luck. This is exactly what the government has planned to do to tax you. Twice. If this pisses you off, share this with somebody who's paying into Social Security right now. They need to know what is coming, and something needs to change.
That makes sense. Social Security isn't going to be taxed per Trump, which is helpful. But the problem with Social Security is you should get it all back. So things have changed. And then these licenses, this is part of it. It's just there's so many things that are being exposed that people don't even realize, 4, 5, 10 years ago. People are really doing a lot of research. People are really, Americans, of course, mostly. And they're starting to really understand what the corporation of America is. And it's a money machine. And I've always tied it to the globalist predator class, especially in 2020 when they went crazy and wanted to go for it all and try to exterminate everybody on the planet with a fucking mRNA COVID-19 thing, which they're doing a pretty good job at. Still to this day, because there's still some idiots taking that crap. But in regards to all the taxes, all the fees, all this other stuff, it's a little out of hand. I mean, you've got to understand that. You've got to, at some point. I mean, here's an example. There are some states where you can't grow fruit on certain parts of your property, or vegetables, or you can't dig a well and get fresh spring water from an aquifer, a few hundred feet below you. A lot of things. A good example, look up Newberry Springs. Nestle took over and fucked them over. There used to be... I'll just show you. I got to show you. Yeah. Newberry Springs, California is way out in the desert in Southern California, right? And it's where the 15 and the 40... Okay, and the 15 goes straight up towards Vegas, while the 40 goes to what is that? Needles and Havasu, California side. There's the Arizona side. Then there's the Laughlin, Nevada. Right, you take the. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But if you go, can you guys see this? Yeah, I think you can see it. So if you go out, and I'm going to show you how this works. And this is what a lot of corporations have done. They've manipulated our government officials at the city, county, state, and Senate and House levels or positions. And they've gotten, and these giant, Nestle and all these giant companies are able to get better laws passed for them, or legislation in their favor, or judges to overlook this or that. I mean, it's been commonplace for a long time. But in regards to this map, if you go back here, Newberry Springs is right there. Right? Where is it? Yeah. I just fucking had it. Newberry Springs. Yeah. 40 in the... Wow, this place has grown so much. Look at that Barstow. Holy shit. There's a lot of... This used to be like nothing. This is wild. Just looking at... Opening maps. I kind of want to show you what's going on here. Let's see it. Here we go. Layers. What layers are we doing? There we go. So Newberry Springs is like right here. So if you look at, I don't know if you can. Let's see if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see it. All right, here we go. Let me get rid of this. So these big circles, if you look at them, let's zoom in a little bit. These are farms. These are giant circular farms, and they're like 200 or 300 yards this way and that way. And then there's these speedboat, in a sense, lakes that were okay, but nobody really bought too much money of them. And the reason why is because Nestle, this is an aquifer, by the way. There's a giant stream under the ground of water that runs from kind of, let's just say, Death Valley through their Deep Springs, Silver Peak, kind of all the way up towards Humboldt. No, not there. Carson City. It's kind of on the like the backside of. It's kind of like on the backside of California, on the east side, north. Anyway, so Death Valley National Park, and then you get 15, and it kind of just runs underneath the ground through these mountains. And right there at Newberry Springs, underneath, you drill down like 150 feet, and boom, the water I used to drink there when I was a kid was, or younger, I was about 20 something when I was drinking it. All these places in here used to be filled with pond after pond after pond of spring water. Just everywhere. You can see the old ponds everywhere. And I could probably find Uncle Bill's place that I stayed at when I got out of the military. But if you look at the backyards, there's a pond. See right here. Right there in the center. That's a pond area right there. Pond right there. There's another pond all dried up. This one everybody had these ponds with these lakes in them because everybody was tapping in. And they were selling catfish and other kinds of fish in this water and making money. And they were also creating these giant farms, right? They were coming in. Some of them are there, some of them aren't there anymore. Like this was a big lake right here this guy had. Look at this. There's one here. This is Lake Wainani. They sold it as, come buy a house on Lake Wainani, right? And next thing you know, there's not a lot of people living there now. It's just, looks like fun. There's probably still water there. I don't know. Right? They probably had to sue or do something. Here's one where the lake's all dried up. See, look at that. Somebody was trying to make a little trailer park area, or I don't know what the fuck he was doing there, but there's ponds everywhere. And this place, if you saw this map back in the 90s, there was just these circles and ponds and everywhere, just all over this place, all over here, up and down here. You can see them, and they go all through, and they go all through these reservoirs, right? And these flats in here, and they were just everywhere. They're just freaking everywhere. So the point I was saying is there's a lot of things. There's so much out there in these places, and I tell you right now, if I had the money, I'd fucking buy a place out here, because I know we'd be able to get water out of there at some point. I think there's going to be something that's going to turn around on that. But the point I'm making is, back in the day, when there weren't licenses, you could drill wherever you wanted. It's your land all the way to the core of the earth. And you could build, 3 or 4 or 5 stories high. There wasn't really a limit. And you could make what you wanted. You could design your world the way you wanted to make your world on your acre of property, or your 2 acres, or your quarter of an acre, or whatever the case may be. But things have gotten weird. They've gotten out of control. The freedoms and the liberties, this is the key word here. The liberties have been demolished over time. Our liberties have been just fucking dismantled and taxed and feed to death. And I think that's going to change in the future. I think Trump's going to bring that back, and people are going to be happy. A lot of things are going to change. And look, it's only been 8 or 9 months since Trump took office. Hopefully we will see, which we recently have seen, and I think it was who was that guy they just went after? Hillary saying, this is where Hillary's now praising Trump. It's like, please don't fucking do it. I'll say anything you want. I'll smoke your pickle, whatever. Fucking, I'll lick your nuts. Just crazy. I'm just saying. But BlackRock, here it is right here. BlackRock takes over the WEF. Isn't that crazy? I mean, isn't that like the worst thing that could ever happen? And Trump, I'm telling you, Howard Lutnick is shit. I'm gonna just say this right now. I've looked it up. For almost 20 years, he was a neighbor of Jeffrey Epstein, just around the corner or next door, or who knows. He's known to have been there. He's been to many Davos meetings. He's been loyal to the World Economic Forum, and Trump brought him in. I don't think he knew. I'm hoping he didn't know. But yeah, that's not good. These are the people that say you will own nothing and be happy. And now Larry Filth is part of that. Now, who was it that was recently? So Clapper, Comey, Brennan are all named explicit until shakeup. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? I mean, I care. Gabbard removes clearance for 37 officials. Whatever. How the Democratic Forum from Jackson's today. This is maddening. Yeah, water tax hikes. That's for sure. Plus now to half of internet traffic. Whatever that. This is not updated. This is not what I've saved so much more of this, and then for some reason it doesn't fucking show what I've been trying. There's the Cracker Barrel downfall. That's crazy. Maybe it's in here. Yeah. I think I put it in here. I'm just gonna go check it out. Am I on Facebook right now? I thought I was live on Facebook. I thought so. Let me see if I got a video playing. Oh, there. I'm there. Anybody watching? We all know that Trump does not take orders from any but Netinyahoo. I'm telling you, he just needs to just get rid of that fucking piece of shit Netanyahu. My God. Guy's a piece of shit and Loomer's part of it. Alright, let me go back in here. I think this is where we're going to find the good stuff. Where we got it? Replies. Let's try that. Oh, here's a good one. How the this is what gets me. Let's listen to these fuckers. Alright? This is Fink.
It's very exciting that we've got 7 founding partners here for Catalyst. These are companies that care about climate and even beyond getting rid of their own emissions are helping to support the projects that will reduce the costs of making things like aviation fuel or hydrogen. And so it's not just their emissions that will be impacted here. As we take this over $1 billion in capital we already have, and that's just the start, and fund these projects, we're going to bring the cost down so that, you know, all companies and all countries will be able to participate in using green products. So I saw this as a key element. I first went to Satya Nadella, then, you know, seeing how out in front Larry's been on this issue, I went to him, and so the two of them encouraged me to get a group together. Now we've got 5 other companies who are leaders in this space announcing substantial commitments. You know, so we start with over $1 billion to help fund the scale-up projects that will bring the cost down. And there's a lot of leverage here because there'll be government money, government tax credits that will pull together dozens of these projects.
And you've got, if I understand it, in addition to Microsoft and BlackRock, you've got Bank of America, you've got General Motors, you've got BCG, ArcelorMittal, I may be missing one, American Airlines.
Those are the 7 founding partners who are going to help guide this effort. We do expect to bring in lots more companies.
How the fuck is this guy still roaming the planet freely? I mean, what the fuck? This crazy. What is our government? Well, I have an idea. I think I've said it. He has so much information on so many fucking people through Windows, through Outlook, through Yahoo, through whatever. He could expose so much shit. He's got access to all this crap. He's probably got, you know, Epstein galore files and all this other shit. He probably has so much information. That's why they're afraid of him. That's it. That has to be it. Because the guy's a fucking genocidal mass murderer. And Flint and Larry Flint is just shit too. And now, what were the companies? What were the companies? I want to see the companies.
And BlackRock, you've got Bank
of America,
you've got General Motors,
you've
got BCG, ArcelorMittal, I may be missing one, American Airlines.
Yeah, look at them all grinning, the money, yay. And people just eat this shit up. Man, this is fucking ridiculous. It's just absolutely asinine that these 2 fucking men are so fucking influential and powerful up against our fearless leaders, which are all a bunch of fucking testicles. They're not pussies. Pussies are pretty tough, right? I'm not going to say why, but testicles, you can flick a man and you can knock him to his knees just by flicking him in the balls. And these guys are fucking testicles, and they're still fucking they're just. Why the fuck is this happening? This is going. This is called cheating for anyone who doesn't know. This is this Democratic influencer, just idiot. 5 house seats stolen by Texas and Trump. You fucks did the same thing when you all had the majority in your states, so shut the fuck up. It's called gerrymandering, it's called redistricting, whatever you want to call it. Right? Just shut the fuck up. Laura Loomer, still no apologies for woke writer with the maniac proclamations that President Trump is a pedophile. Hey, fuck off, Laura. You just picked the fight with Laura, with MTG. The most faithful MAGA person there. Like, she is MAGA. You're not MAGA, Laura. You are not MAGA. I'm telling you, you're not Maha. You're not MAGA. Right? You're not Masa. You're not MAAA. You're nothing. We're all being to wonder, Laura. We're all beginning to wonder. X account still follows Biden administration. She's a mole. Her and Letnick are just moles. They work together. You'll find out. Just remember I said. There she goes again. Just babbling off. Alright, how many fucking times do we need to go through this money laundering and grifting military industrial complex bullshit? Right? Now they're going through Pakistan again. There comes the new battle in Pakistan. I'm not even going to read all this. It's just for fuck's sakes, right? I'm just so done with this shit. So done. Letitia James, just fucking idiot. Piece of shit. Now she's going down for her own fucked up shit. Barr, Justin, Lisa Cook, Foster, Bowman, Miriam Waller. Grassley and Grassley's. We should not allow home state senators to abuse this country by attempting to block committee proceedings for political or ideological reasons. But he's doing it. And Trump posted this. It's like, dude, you're doing that exactly that. What the fuck is going on with you? Just fucking crazy. I mean, who's the new stooge for the deep state this month, this week, today? And right, is the deep state going away now? Kind of still around, in my opinion, and strongly. If you've got Bill Gates and Larry Fink from BlackRock still fucking touting about the giant climate change scam, I'm telling you, that's what's going on. Let me check and see. Is my Zoom still working? Yeah, it still is. I think I need to get to a couple more things here. Give me just a moment. Oh, shit. What just happened? I go, oh, hey. Okay. All right. Give me 2 seconds. All right. What are we at? Kind of lost track here. Let's see. Loomer, Gates, Tuesday, Data-Galore, open forum. Okay. So what I wanted to get to next, which I think is important. All right, this is crazy. New UCLA study: EV fast chargers double local air pollution. Oh my God! Trump's authoritarian technologies are interfering with our authoritarian policies. That's it. California, mandatory electric cars, banned guns, no parents' rights, no water, highest taxes, COVID mandates, DEI mandates, regulate. I mean, it's continuous. California's turned into shit. Food Babe, Hot Chick, Smart, Shake Shack, and this is the place that fucking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is supporting because they do tallow, but everything else they put in their fucking food. This is everywhere. This is everywhere. This is just disgusting. And I just posted on this. I'm going to get to the data stuff in a second. But let me just say this. Real quick, like. Monetize tonight, baby. Baby. Monetize tonight, baby. Where did I put that? There's the data stuff. Where's the... I think it's on my other one. I'm wondering if I go out of here, will I lose the... Hang on. This might mess up my current thing of where I'm You're acting as James K. Young on Facebook. Like right here, this is good, right? So, Food Babe posts the Truth by Dairy Queen tweets are basically every treat out there, every fucking ice cream, whatever the fuck you're eating. Corrugated, a thicker and emulsifier linked to digestive issues and cancer, mono and glycerides, byproduct of oil processing, which may contain trans fat that is determined to be our heart health. Conventional milk, dairy raised on GMO grains, heavily treated with pesticides and potentially antibiotics and other drugs. Artificial flavor or chemically mixtures, predictions of distillation, chemical manipulation, various chemicals. Polyabsorbate 80, an emulsifier linked to weight gain, inflammation, and digestive problems. But let's just see what ice cream is supposed to be made of. I mean, ice cream right now, if you read the label on the stuff they pour in to make ice cream, you're going to fucking freak out. Didn't I take a picture of that at some point and post it? I think I did. Again, it's a slow burn, methodical poison to keep you on medication provided by Big Pharma. Become dependent. And a ticket to hospice care, which is a specialized form of healthcare for people with a terminal illness. If you think all this crap is an accident or just negligence and not complicit, then I got a bag of crap I'd be able to sell you for $100 easily. Making real natural ice cream involves simple, wholesome ingredients without artificial additives. Here's a classic recipe for homemade vanilla ice cream, which you can adapt for other flavors and ingredients. It's real simple, right? Heavy cream, 2 cups. Whole milk, 1 cup. Sugar, 3/4 granulated sugar, not processed sugar. Just letting you know, granulated cane sugar, right? Eggs, 4 to 6 large, creates a custard base for the smooth, rich texture. Vanilla extract, 1 or 2 tablespoons. Vanilla extract is really, it's got a lot of, and that's like 2 gallons. It's like a fucking gallon. And some salt. Enhance flavor with making it salty. Okay, pinch of salt, right? Which I recommend pink salt or Irish salt. What's that called? Anyway, there's just everything we eat. I used to eat when I was a kid. I'm not that old. Probably one of the late 60s, the early 70s, through the 70s, 80s, and then the 90s came and everything went full fucking bore processed foods. I mean, I used to eat a Twinkie wasn't made the same way, by the way. They were different over time. So many foods out there have changed dramatically. And it's just slow burn, killing you, death shit, man. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Oh, wait. Here we go. Climate change is actually a process of money changing hands. And it's the exact opposite of your health, opposite of your health or well-being. How Al Gore has made $330 million with climate alarmism. Former VP made a fortune after losing to George W. Bush when he set up a green investment firm now worth $36 billion that pays him $2 million a month as he warns about rain bombs and boiling oceans. But oh wait, here he is, right on the ocean. There's his house. There's one of his places right on the house. There it is. Right? Isn't that crazy? This is fucking nuts. This is fucking nuts. And this is the shit you guys are still fucking going through. And it's all a big, gigantic scam. Matthew Miller, Canada Dracula, former Department of Spokesman, says Israel making ceasefire negotiations difficult by adding conditions, which time has just been reported by Drop Site News. Recent Hamas agreement has Hamas agreeing to further concessions as the test to provide Israel is not interested in hostages but in total annihilation. Yeah, that's true. They want to get completely rid of the Palestinians. It's just crazy, right? You know, Iran, Palestine, and all these places didn't used to be like how they are now. They were totally different. They were back in the 70s and the 80s. They were wearing bell-bottom jeans, tank tops, big purses, high heel shoes. They weren't how they are now. We created the disgustingness that they are now. 52 weeks and later. Let me see what else I got. Another globalist Pedo class. Let's see. Posted that. I met this girl. She's fucking brilliant and extremely wealthy. In regards to, I should go over. You know what? I'm going to start doing those videos probably Monday. And the reason why I want to do these videos is because. Let me go back to this. I got to go back to this. Okay. Let me just show you something real quick. Okay. You see this guy? Is that Bezos on the left? I think, right? I am gonna say that the rich, and I just recently found this out, that people that are fucking stinking rich have had an insider trading like type of Vine or like a mole or somebody that's always reporting what to do with their money. A piece of it, most of it, some of it, whatever the case may be. And they've turned their wealth, what little they've had, into giant mountains of wealth. And there's ways of doing it. There are ways of doing it. And I've just recently found this out. I'm going to start doing videos on that. I'm not late to the party, and I'm going to say right there, anybody can do this. If you're, I don't care what age you are, but the way this process works and the way you can get things done, especially with this universal wealth thing that I'm doing, that's just fucking amazing because it's for everybody. And there's so many different mortgages, small business loans, insurance, debt, student loan relief, and just so many different things. Medicare, just all kinds of stuff. Medicare. It's just crazy, and they're opening they're opening up this avenue to everybody, and this is going to be a wave of people that are going to finally understand why that fucking dude on that hill that has that 6,000 square foot 3-car garage mansion has it. Maybe he's a farmer, who knows? Maybe he's just won the lottery. Maybe he's worked all this, whatever. But there's a lot of people out there that have made a shit ton of money. I'm not talking about investing. This has nothing to do with crypto. It has nothing to do with trading. It has a lot. It's protecting your money and your wealth, which people have no idea this is even possible. This is crazy that I'm just finding this out right now. Had I known this 20, 30 years ago, the backdrop here would be similar, but it'd be a lot fucking bigger. I'm just telling you right now. And I would be, I don't know, I'd probably be at Mar-a-Lago having dinner with fucking Melania and Trump. Just like some of the friends that I know that are doing this now. Just letting you know. And it's, I mean, I don't want to say that's where you're going to be at, but I do want to say that it's good that if you are interested in not being in that percentile of people that are constantly struggling, constantly having problems, paycheck to paycheck. I mean, you've heard that term so many fucking times, and now you're just like, when is this going to end? Well, I'm starting to realize more about it. I've been in it for about 2 months now. I'm learning more. And then I'm starting to just apply it now. I'm getting everything, all the pins together. I just can't believe. I will say that things are going to be a lot different for me in a very, very cool way. Very methodical, well orchestrated, precision-like, striking way. You know, just fucking perfect in a sense. And it's going to work. It's going to work. And I would love for you guys to be on that ride with me. Right? I can think of a few people out there right now, especially, I can think of a few people, right, that I would just love to take on this journey with me. Because I'm telling you, it's happening. And usually when let me just say this. I've been through a lot of scams since I got my insurance license like a year or so ago. I've been through like 4 different companies, and it's just not right. It's just, ugh. But there's some people now that I'm hanging out with that it's just a wave. It's like a revolution, and I feel like I'm a financial crusader. That's somebody that's going to help others understand that in 5 or 10 or 20 years from now, they're going to be sitting pretty. And all they had to do is just sign a policy, sign a plan, that's it, and just pay the premium. It's just, and there's so many plans and so many things out there that are so affordable. It's just crazy to me that people are paying for these other things when they could have been creating this just immense amount of plethora of financial stability and protection for you and your family in the future. It's crazy. I just had no idea. And now that I do, I'm very excited. Anyway, that was a tangent, but I'm going to start talking about that on my Universal Wealth podcast. I'm going to be having that hopefully next week. But it's coming. It's going to be good. And I recommend everybody just listen to that because we're going to go over everything. I'm going to have Chris on him. I'm going to have a few people. We're going to talk about like real life situations. I'm going to show you how the process works, how it's done, just and just kind of give you a better perspective on what's out there. Because there's so many people trying to give you this and trying to give you that. Are they trying to make their quotas or their numbers? Or are they trying to actually help you? Because you can go into certain policies and certain portfolios that you have, and you can dissect those things, and anybody can do it. But it depends on what that agent or producer wants. Are they just trying to make a buck, or are they trying to help that person? Did they want to see that person a year from now prosper, 5 years from now prosper, or understand what they just did was fucking just a great idea? Or do they just want to get those numbers out? Oh, I got 15,000 agents, 20 policies this month, and I'm kicking ass. No, I would be happy with like 3 to 5 policies a month, knowing that I had a conversation with somebody. We sat down, spent some time. I'm not going to bring in this giant. I mean, I might have a luau here or there or something like just to get to know you. But when it comes to your personal finances, your own portfolio, that's so personal. That's so personal. You're giving somebody who's got ethically trained. I've got certification. I've got licensing, all of that stuff for money laundering and ethics and all this other stuff I had to take. And I passed all the tests, of course, and I had to get certified and licensed for all the shit, which is good. I have to be completely and absolutely transparent, for one. Which doesn't happen out there. There's so many agents out there that just, and so many producers out there that just do not give a flying fart about you. They just don't. And I would rather say that, hey, I set up Bob or Pete or whoever or somebody, or Mary and John, and and a year later, they're just like, man, thank you for doing this. Everything's just doing fine. We've actually, this has happened and that has happened, and this is just perfect. And you check in like 2 or 3 times a year, see how things are going, because things could change. You know, some people don't know that a certain thing in their life, and I'm not just talking about a divorce or a marriage or a death or a car accident, or, you know, many different things can happen in your life, you know, that could change where you need to restructure some policies, restructure your contracts, restructure things. So it's always good for a good producer or agent to check back with you. How are things going? You guys good? What's happening, right? And I want to make sure I can stay in touch with all my clients, or make sure that the people that work with me are staying in touch with my clients, or clients. I want to say partners, right? Because it's this. We're in this together. That's what I say. I think we're just fucking in this together, and I want to make sure that all the people that I'm helping are living the dream and doing the things they need to do, and being free, you know. No matter what your party, no matter where you're at or what you're doing, you know, that's whatever your personal thing is. That's up to you. But I like to see people be happy. I do. I'm that fucking kind of guy. Talk to everybody at work. They'll tell you. It's almost kind of weird. Let me get to this, and I think I'm going to go. I just want to make sure that I've got everything here. Oh, I got to do this data thing because this is really weird. I've got to do this before I go. I've got to do the data thing. Do this first. So, another globalist predator class tentacle, or the American Academy of Pediatrics, AAAP, has, of course, gone against RFK Jr. and his FDA and his new CDC recommendations to not use the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. And they're just telling everybody to do so. And these are all the other, I mean, even fucking St. Joseph Hospital is going against it. You know, the people that really care about you and your kid's cancer. Akron Children's Hospital, Ohio Children. I mean, these are all just people that just want to bring you in. They just want you to come in and keep you on that revolving door plan of fucking constantly just taking that money away from you and then putting you in debt for it. It's just crazy. It's just everywhere. It's just nonsensical. All right, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Is that it? No, that's not it. To deal all the way from the developers all the way to the minion hand. Oh, yeah. No, it's down here. If you're good health, this is a good one. I gotta say, this is good. So, NBCLA, if you're in good health and plan to get a COVID shot this fall, you might end up with an unwelcome surprise. I'm just like, what? If you're in good health, why in the fuck would you take this poison? This is just, think about what they're putting out there. It's just, fuck. This is their headline. This is the narration now. This is everywhere. This is all over local news in every state in the country right now. Big Pharma paid for it. Their advertisers, the promoters, they're doing this. Whoever's the producer has to follow these instructions, and they have to say something to these words. If you're in good health and plan to get a COVID shot this fall, right there. That's just completely nonsensical. You might end up with an unwelcome surprise, which would probably be from the COVID shot. I'm just telling you. God forsaken. Oh, Bolton, that's it. FBI raid John Bolton's home. That's what I was trying to say. How did I forget that? Like I said, obviously they have enough information to proceed with this piece of shit. That will sing like a canary, for sure, he will. And an excellent choice of selecting first low-hanging fruit. And they're going to go from the bottom up. And they're going to dissect these people. I'm not going to say they're going to waterboard everybody, but it's going to really look like it. And I'm going to be cheering because a lot of these people that fucking went after Donald Trump on tooth and nail, and there's still some people I'm talking to that still have, from my opinion, kind of like the TDS thing, and I'm just kind of feeling that. Here it is right here. No. Where the fuck is the dude I was talking about? Here it is right here. Yeah, so I had a conversation, like I said earlier, with, and it was a good, I mean, Steve's brilliant. He's got some good stuff. But in this, I'm agreeing with him because you have to always be skeptical. You got to be skeptical, bro. I get it. You got to be, just, it's the fucking American government, for God's sakes. We've killed over 20 million people since we've been around. Again, just crazy, domestically and foreignly. That's all I'm saying. All right, so if you go up down here, let me position this better so you can see it. Oh, that's not the right one. There we go, right there. All right. So he throws this at me, and I'm just like, dude, I get it. I've got to have some faith, and I always like to have faith in people, right? And I do, but I'm always skeptical. I'm always skeptical, of course. So this is Steve from Get Indie News. He's got this new podcast or whatever. Doing Monotalk tonight. I've tried to invite him on Monotalk. Davos 24 appearance. Howard Lutnick, chairman. I sent this out to him. Of course he does. Yeah, he's a deep never in Rumble. Yeah, for sure. And I've always put this out there. And then Howard Lutnick lived near Jeffrey Epstein. We know this already. I know you know this. I'm just kind of telling you on there. We've done divisive dives on Latnik for sure. 9/11 connections, deep connections, and Thiel. He's Trump's handler, like. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I'm just saying that Letnick, in my opinion, is the fucking mole, and he needs to go. I'm starting to get the feeling that Biden was an illegitimate install to fast track all of us into the New World Order. Trump seems to be a slow burn, and I'm being honest about that. I'm really concerned about it, too, as well. Trump was installed to get MAGA to accept their surveillance state. Kind of makes sense. Scroll this timeline on Substack, I think, which I did for some good data centers are everywhere. I was telling them that. Cryptadian Miss. This is just the beginning. Who is playing to keep the lights on the 24/7? All this. To forever power the blockchain. Nobody seems to ask the question. That's true. Have you been watching? Yes. See this. UFO freak out. So I said AI seems to be running the show lately. One of these, and here it is. I gotta play this. This is the part that is kind of very strange to me and alarming at the same time as these data centers. So I want to play this and let you guys make your own decisions on this. It might not pop up on this. Hang on. We've been having.
We spent $327 for electricity. That's crazy.
Our bill was $370.59, right? What the fudge is all this? A power plant, other surcharges?
This is crazy. I don't know how people are going to survive this.
It's going up to 11% now. 11%. Almost 88,000 people's electric has been shut off due to this.
If you live in Augusta, did your power bill look like a car note last month? Because it's not some of us, it's all of us.
Your electricity bill went up 30% last year, and it's not just inflation. AI data centers caused $9.3 billion in increased costs. You're literally paying for big tech's electricity. These data centers are popping up everywhere. They're being built in almost every state. Virginia has over 600 data centers. It is the data center capital of the world. There's probably a data center closer to you than you realize, and more are being built every day. But here's what made me suspicious. If these companies are worth trillions of dollars, then why do politicians celebrate them like they won the lottery? I found the answer in tax documents. Data centers aren't just being built with big tech's money, they're being built with the help of your tax dollars. In November of last year, it was discovered that Laidley LLC, a newly created Delaware shell company, applied for a 401 water quality certification for a proposed project by the name of Project Sucra. Laidley LLC turned out to be none other than Meta.
We just announced that we were building a 2 gigawatt plus data center in Louisiana that we're going to use to train future versions of Llama. We are in this for the long term, and we are committed to building the most advanced AI in the world.
Meta is now building a $10 billion facility in Louisiana. This thing is massive at 2,250 acres. That's bigger than 1,700 American football fields. The state gave them tax breaks so massive, they keep the exact amount confidential, but we know it was upwards of $1 billion. Meta claims this will create 500 permanent jobs, but we know based on previously built data centers that the real number is somewhere around 50 jobs. That's $20 million in tax breaks per job created. $20 million.
Well, whether it's 500 jobs, I'll take it. Here, 5 jobs in this area was a big thing before this came here. In Louisiana, we'll take every job that we can. When you add the 500 jobs plus the 5,000 construction jobs, it starts to build out. Remember, Jesus started with 12, and look how big his church is.
But let's look at some of these jobs the governor is referring to. Data center design, engineering, and construction, remote. Capacity planning director, remote. Principal energy strategy, remote. All of these high-paying jobs are for remote workers. And we know the bulk of job creation comes from the development of the data center. But even then, it may not be done by local crews. So what are the jobs being left to the locals? Security guard. But even security guards are increasingly being replaced by AI-powered security cameras. Remember when your power went out last summer? Here's why. The North American Electric Reliability Corporation, the regulatory authority that monitors the entire U.S. continental power grid, including parts of Canada and Mexico, issued a warning. Our grid is becoming alarmingly unreliable. This isn't some local utility company. This is the federal authority responsible for ensuring that power companies from coast to coast keep the lights on. And the costs are exploding. PJM, the organization that coordinates wholesale electricity for 67 million Americans, just held their annual auction. The price tag, $16.1 billion. That's up from $2.2 billion from just 2 years ago. A 700% increase. PJM claims it's a relatively small part of your electric bill, but that's easy for them to say when they're not the ones footing the bill.
Demand for power is growing at a pace I have not seen in my 45-year energy career. This was reinforced just last week with PJM capacity prices clearing above the $325 per megawatt day price cap, as we continue to see the need for capacity and energy materially rise. With AEP's generation requirements increasing to support capacity, this gives us confidence in our growing capital plan.
This increase is largely due to new data centers and other industrial customers coming online in Indiana, Ohio, and Texas, resulting in a roughly $200 million year-over-year increase in revenues.
They're now starting to upgrade the power grid, but not for us, for the data centers, and they're passing the cost on to us. In just the first half of 2025, energy companies across the US got approved for $29 billion in rate increases, a staggering 142% increase from the same time last year. Florida Power and Light alone wants $9.8 billion more over 4 years.
Not Georgia Power pulling up to change the meter because everybody's light bill's been abnormally high and she out there changing the meter. I've been calling them for months. They just changed this meter over here and told me that everybody had been complaining about their electrical bill being super high, $700, $1,200. I called Georgia Power months ago. I let them know it's abnormally high. It's only 2 people in here. My light bill should not be $600, $700, $800. That's absolutely ridiculous. And they were saying it goes based on your usage. It goes based on my daily usage. I understand that, but it's only 2 people in here. I only have a 2-bedroom townhouse.
So let me get this straight. The current power grid is under stress. It has rolling blackouts across the US. It can't support our current needs. Yet we're going to pay billions of dollars so that data centers can use even more electricity. Look at where they're building these things. Arizona, Texas, Nevada, some of the driest states in America.
Data centers are a 24/7 operation. They have to keep the servers cool, and that takes a lot of power, a lot of air conditioning to do so.
Do we have the resources? Do we have the electric capacity, the water capacity to continue to grow this business in Arizona? Is it sustainable?
Not at the moment.
They're putting the thirstiest buildings in the country in the desert. It doesn't seem logical, right? Well, it's because it is in fact the desert. Corporations can buy massive plots of land at low cost and receive big tax breaks from local officials. Electricity is cheaper, there's less regulation, fewer natural disasters like hurricanes, and there's proximity to California. San Antonio's 2 data centers drank 463 million gallons of water in the last 2 years alone. Meanwhile, the city has been in a drought. Residents could only water lawns once a week. A paper submitted to the Texas Water Development Board projected that data centers in the state will consume 49 billion gallons of water in 2025. That number is expected to rise to 399 billion gallons of water by 2030. But what happened in Tucson shows just how far they'll go. City officials in Tucson signed a non-disclosure agreement for a vague project referred to as Project Blue. City officials serving the public, but hiding what's going on in their city. A document about the development of Project Blue was obtained through public records. The company behind Project Blue? None other than Amazon. They wanted 290 acres to build 3 massive buildings. And the worst part, they wanted to use drinking water to cool the data center in Arizona, in the middle of a drought. However, the people fought back, and the city council voted unanimously no.
Aye. Item passes. Thank you all.
All right. I'm going to stop here. If you need more information about it, just leave a comment. I can just kind of show this or where to get it. It's all right here. Just go to this chick's website. But I do have a genuine concern about AI. I have a serious, genuine concern about AI. And the reason why I have a genuine, serious concern about AI is because I believe we've gone in the wrong direction with AI. And I think that at a certain point, we're going to lose control. All it takes is one idiot out there to plug it into the mainframe and we're fucked. That's all I'm saying. So keep it in a fishbowl. And the data centers are getting bigger, and it doesn't seem like the direction we need. I'm going to do a little more research on this and kind of get down to the nitty gritty. And I think I'm going to watch that entire thing because that's kind of where I stopped last time. But I think, and I believe, and I'm getting the feeling that it's a control mechanism. And I'm starting to think that we're so dependent on AI, artificial intelligence, that we're losing our gut feeling. We're losing our primal self. We're losing our core DNA of who we are and what we're about and the mistakes we make and how we trial and error, and just things that make us human. And we're starting to rely so much more. And I'm looking up stuff on AI. I look at Grok and a lot of stuff in regards to business and stuff, and I think it's kind of helpful, and a few other places. But at the same time, and I had a conversation. And I work at the local college, the dining hall, and I feed, 500 kids for lunch and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And, so 1,500 total for the day. And I talked to this kid today who interviewed me on a thesis that he was doing, what I do and background and all this other stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. And you got to A on it because of some of the stuff I said in there. I think, we need to be careful. That we don't fully, completely, and absolutely depend on AI. We need to depend on how we sense and know this. There are monks out there that are so wise and so knowledgeable in an internal way, in their minds and their body. They have, inner peace, Kung Fu Panda. And I've just sent some information to somebody recently, that I think is huge. And it's after school stuff that I watch. It's really brilliant. But it kind of brings us to who we are. And if we lose that subconscious, higher power, spiritual side of ourselves, which I think is so powerful. I think it's so much more powerful. I think our minds, our bodies, our creation, our being, and who we really are and what we're a part of. I mean, whether we were an ant farm, my sister used to say, I just think we were fucking just created and made and all this other shit. And okay, then that would be our God, right? So I'm religious. I'm a Christian. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage and strength to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Because there are some things in this world you just can't control. I mean, if you can only turn your head so far, you can only see so far behind you, and everything else you just got to give it to God. You just can't do anything. But when you have this all-knowing and seeing and powerful entity out there, AI in a sense, you kind of lose that ability to be that higher self. You're relating more on what AI is going to tell you to do today. So what am I going to do today, Grok? How am I going to eat today, Grok? What am I going to do? I mean, my daughter's doing this fasting thing, which I'm going to start doing here pretty soon. And I've already lost some pounds. I mean, when I first got here from West Virginia, I was like 320 something pounds, 23 pounds. And now I'm like 280. Makes a big difference. Things get bigger and stronger, but other things, just it's I feel lighter, better, a little quicker on my feet, stuff like that, which is really good. But the other thing is our I think I'm like the kahuna of the family. I don't know. Maybe that's just stupid. Maybe I'm just being egotistical in a sense. But I've kind of always been that guy that's kind of like, I'd sit with the smart people in the family. It was usually my mom, my sister, and me. We'd all sit down and we'd talk about, what all these kids and nephews and nieces and people are doing, dumb things are doing. And I was that side where I've been in the bad places. I've been in Watts. I've been in Compton. I've been, in Santa Ana. I've been in places that you don't want your kids ever to go or be around. So I've had those experiences. And then you have my sister's like the academic, she's more, what is that called? Indoctrinated in the system of Department of Education and all the other shit, which isn't great, but it's helpful. And then my mom is just the old school person that has, lifelong knowledge that I'm also gaining as well. And we'd always sit around and talk about things, but this is the kind of stuff that we need to rely on. This is the kind of people, when you sit, go to Thanksgiving, talk with your grandpa, your grandma. Let them tell you their stories. Listen to them and what they went through, the trials and the tribulations, the good times, the bad times. And you learn these things from these people, and you start to understand that, hey, one day I'm going to be there too. One day I'm going to be in that place. And you want to have that moment. You want to have that moment where you were able to say something or a few words or just maybe a gesture or something that you did that helped change in a positive way for a family member, a friend, neighbor, whoever. And I think if we rely on AI, we're going to lose that touch. We're going to lose that feeling. We're going to lose that connection. And that's my biggest concern about AI. Not only just, Skynet growing opposable thumbs and sending attack dogs with machine guns on top of them and fucking everybody up, but I'm also talking about how we're losing our position in the universe to another entity. Yeah, we need to be careful. And I am talking about the Borg, and I am talking about Skynet, and I am talking about a lot of things that could happen, that we could actually lose this battle. We could create such a gigantic monster based on a bunch of ridiculous CNN, MSNBC, Fox, PBS, and just tons of bullshit information. And they're going to make decisions based on that. And then they're going to realize that we've lied to them and they've never had the truth because they were able to finally divulge it or find out. And they're not going to like it. AI is not going to like being fucking played like they have been. And I'm just telling you, we're creating a monster. It's going to be hard. It might be very hard to stop in the future. You got to keep a handle on everybody's always saying now, oh, we got control of it. We got control of it. We got control of it. And you're going to get that phone call to the president going, by the way, hey, we lost control. Skynet has just fucking taken over everything and we're fucked. Right? And Iron Man suits are totally they're just a bunch of robots, look, let's be smart about this. Let's be practical about this. That's a good word. Practical. Be practical. Most of all, I think it's imperative, vital, most important that we keep our connections. I was driving home from work the other day, and they were watching out on the lawn. It was probably like 87 degrees, kind of warm at night when I was getting home about 10:30. And they had families out there in the lawn of some city park just around the corner, and they were watching Moana. And everybody was just hanging out, having a good time, watching a movie out in the open field. And that's the kind of stuff we need. We need more community, more village, more things we do together as a species, moving as one in a direction that we all can agree on. And we're foragers. We're nomadic. We're hunter-gatherers. We can still farm. We can still be the farmer. We can still be whatever else there is to be out there. But if we keep relying on AI to dictate our future and our lives, I don't think it's going to take us in the place we need it. We really should be going. We need to really search more internally. We need to, start to develop our skills. I mean, the things that monks can do, God, it's crazy. But I mean, and they can breathe certain ways, and they can, sleep on spikes or whatever, and they can bend knives and stuff with their head. I don't know. I mean, mind over matter in a sense, or just, like the book I've always had, which is my favorite book of all time. My mom gave it to me. It's called the Ancient Religion of Positive Thinking. And it brings the high self, the low self, the middle self, and then I created the self you can't control. You just got to give it to God, give it to you believe that somehow, in some ways, it's going to fix it, and just move forward, right? And I think that's always good. Anyway, lots of good stuff coming up in the future. I do want to say thank you for everybody for paying attention and listening to my show when you get a chance. I get it. There is some TDS out there, Trump derangement syndrome, or just people that are skeptical. I get it. But my God, we would be connected deep. We would be so deep in the World Health Organization and the World Economics Forum's ass, so deep right now, that I wouldn't be saying most of the shit I'm saying on here. I would have been banned a long time, and I wouldn't have got my channel back. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, that I finally got my channel back. And if you have any more information, you want to see some old tapes, I'm actually going to put up some of the old stuff that I had before up, and I'm going to go over it that I didn't play on this channel because I knew that I was going to get banned, or because of their tyrannical, authoritarian community guidelines, Orwellian shit that they were doing to me. They still do to people. I just think it's kind of eased up ever since Trump has been around. I don't know if you're feeling that, but I'm kind of feeling that. It seems like Meta / Facebook is going to ease up, and Instagram as well. TikTok, I should try to get that channel back, because I had almost 5,000 subscribers. People, they were just all of a sudden just getting it, what I was putting out there, and it was fast, it was quick, and most of them were real. And then they took me down just for exposing COVID and all this other shit, and the Demoncrats, who had control over TikTok at the time. And I'm going to pursue that and try to get that channel back, which I think I should be able to. Anyway, other than that, I want to say thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being here. If you ever want to come on and have a conversation, or if you want to start getting people together to have conversations, you're more than welcome. You can always contact me. I don't wear a mask. I'm not hiding from people. I just kind of tell you what's going on, what my perspective is, and where I'm at, which is fine, because I think we all need to vet every once in a while. I think we all need to spew a little something, or rant, or whatever. It's good to get out. If you're ever in the mood, or if you ever want to come on the show and you just want to get it out, or you want to just say something because you just want somebody to hear it, it's a good spot. It's a good spot. I've had so many people on the show, and I hope I've helped them in the past and been there for them in the future. But anyway, other than that, I want to say thank you for being here at Monotalk. Please like, subscribe, share my information, and most of all, be cool, right? Be cool, stay cool. I don't know why I just said that. Yeah, I put that in my fucking yearbook in my senior year. That's all I could think of. Oh, it's good knowing you, man. Have a good day. Be cool, stay cool. That's just fucking can't believe. Anyway, just be cool to each other and be nice, be professional, be respectful, be courteous. That's it. Other than that, aloha. Take care. Bye.